Hello, welcome back to this series where I'm teaching you how to draw a realistic French Bulldog using graphite pencils. In this video we're going to be finishing the drawing together, working on the last remaining section of this math area. So I've linked part 1 in the description, or if you go onto my page you can see the first 4 parts. So in part 1 we just drew his body, part 2 we did the ears, part 3 we did his sort of top head section, and then in part 4 we drew his eyes, his nose, and sort of finished off his head. In the description there's also a link to the reference photo so you can follow along, and a list of the materials that I use and recommend. So we ended part 4 by adding a few of the whiskers and white hairs using an embossing tool. We outlined some of these shadowed areas ready to make a start now. So all I'm doing now is erasing the grid lines that I used to draw the outline. Obviously if you didn't use the grid method then you don't need to do this step. So I'm trying to do it while I'm sort of explaining. But once we've done that, all I want to do is start to just get some pencil down just on the paper, and then we can go in with the detail. So I just want to get like a even sort of base layer of pencil. I'll blend it out and then we'll go in with the detail then. So I'm just going to do this section first and then worry about his little chin later. I think it's easier to just sort of, for me anyway, I like to do like one bit at a time. So just looking back and forth at my reference photo, obviously where we drew out all of his little wrinkles earlier on, I want to erase those as well, but only lightly, so we still want to be able to see the lines. But we're going to be going over them. I don't want to lose them completely. So I'm going to use my 2B pencil now. And to start with, so these wrinkles and little lines. Oh, sorry. Biscuit was just walking underneath and I've got my phone plugged into charge, so he was walking on the cable. So got my 2B pencil and I'm going to focus on this little wrinkle here first. And if you look closely at this little section, you want to draw with the direction of the fur. So it's going sort of down towards the left. So using quite light pencil strokes, I'm going to do little triangles like we have done in the previous parts, just in that direction, going over the line that I drew beforehand, just where it's darker on the photo. You don't have to worry about it being wrinkles or anything, you just want to look at where the shadows are, where it's lighter and where it's darker, and focus on where to put your pencil. And just underneath that then we've got another wrinkle. So I'm just going to do the same thing. Keep looking at the direction of the fur. So it's quite short hairs just at the top here. Now I'm holding my pencil quite far back, as you can see, as you just want quite a light pressure, and I don't want it to be too controlled, if that makes sense. Just getting these shapes in. Okay, now just to the right of this first wrinkle that we drew, I can see another dark-ish line. Just going to draw that in. And then this little part here, just above the shadow, is like the bottom of his lips or his mouth. You can see it's really quite dark. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to shade that in using a bit of a harder pressure. Yeah, just make sure all of that is covered. Still not pressing very hard, but just, like I said, I just want to get some pencil down to start with. Okay, last bits on this side then. We've got this really dark wrinkly bit here. So, same as what we did with this one, look at the direction the fur is going in, which way the hairs are pointing, and just follow that with your pencil. There's another bit just above it. If you follow my coloured pencil tutorials as well, or you're hoping to start drawing in coloured pencils, you'll be pleased to know that I've just picked I picked the dog that I want to draw. So we'll do a full tutorial in that as well. I'm going to do it about the same size. So about 6 by 6 inches, because I can do it fairly quickly. She's a black and tan Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. So I thought, I haven't done any black fur tutorials in colour pencil yet, so I thought it would be good to get that in. Yeah, I'm just waiting. I have got a photo, but her mum said that she would send me a couple more photos to have a look at, so I'm going to wait and see what other photos she sends, see if any are a bit better, and then we'll go from there and I can start recording that for you. Okay, on this side then, we're just going to do the same thing. So I've got this really annoying like little cough. It's like making my voice go funny now and again. So same as what we did in this little section. It's not as prominent on this side, it's much of a shadowed area, but we've got a little bit just at the top, so get that in. Just need to rip up my lines a little bit more. Okay, now like on the left side, he's got a bit of a darker sort of wrinkly bit just underneath here. Just in the bottom of this little grid section, there's sort of like a little rectangle, dark bit. Don't know what it is. It's just part of him, part of his little wrinkles. So I'll just get that in. It's funny, each side looks quite different. I think it's because of the way the light is hitting him, like it's coming from the left. So obviously the light is hitting this side of his face before this side, so it looks quite different. Just looking at the direction now of drawing each wrinkly bit, just as we can see it. So if you look at the length of the hair as well, it's really quite short here. So you just want to be doing tiny little lines with your pencil. There's a little shadow here as well, just like a little line going horizontal, and then a bit of a shadow, so just make sure you get that in. You're literally just looking at all of the different sections, like little shapes that you can see inside of each area. So all of the dark bits, just get them in. Thank you for your patience with these videos as well. Honestly, I had such a busy August. I just did not have time to be doing this. I had like commissions booked in. They, like, obviously they're my income, so they sort of have to take priority. But I am trying to fit these in where I can. But say I had the commissions, I was working quite a lot, and I had birthdays as well. I had my birthday at the end of the month, which was good. Feeling old now though. I know I'm not, but I do feel it. But I'll be back to it now. I wonder what Christmas will bring this year. I've been super busy for the last 4 or 5 Christmases. I'm not sure however long I've been doing it. Christmas has always been busy. Well, hopefully it'll be the same this year. This section that we drew in at the end of part 4 here is quite dark, so I'm just going to go over that again with this 2B. All down here is in quite a bit of shadow, so get that in. There's lots of little hairs and little tiny sections. Oh my god, it's just started absolutely hammering down outside. But luckily, I don't know how it's happening, but it's still got blue skies and the sun, so it's still nice and bright to draw. I was working yesterday and it just went so dark in here. I was just not happy. It rained for, well, it felt like ages, and it's just like pitch black. Just not excited for the winter. That's what I like about summer. Like, obviously I love it not being rainy and wet, but just to draw, like, you get the longer days. When it gets to like November, like I've only got like 2 hours of daylight a day. It's awful. I need to get like those big studio lights that I've seen some artists have. Sorry, can't speak. But I just don't have the space. I have like a little daylight lamp that I bought years ago, but I just find it quite like offensive to my eyes. It's really hard to work in. Like, you can dim it, but I don't know, like I just can't find a way to use it where it doesn't leave like a shadow, which is really annoying. Okay, I'm gonna go with my 5B now, or just any darker pencil that you've got. And this bit here, just underneath his lip, I want to make that a lot darker now, just because I don't want to end up, once I start blending this part of his mouth, I don't want to lose this sort of shape that I've got. So I'm pressing quite hard now with the 5B. As long as you go in darker than what this section needs to be, then you're fine. You can always make it darker later, which we probably will. But as long as you can just differentiate between the two sections for now, then that's fine. Same as well, I noticed just to the right as well, this bit is quite a lot darker. So I'm just going to do the same thing. So I'm pressing harder where it's darker and then lifting my pencil as it gets to the lighter bit. I'm going to go back with my 2B now. So I think I guess we probably could have done this to start with, but just everything that I've just done where it's slightly darker, I just want to go over it a little bit with a bit of a harder pressure before I start blending it. So I'm doing it quite loosely, don't worry too much about the detail, because once we blend it, it's all going to sort of rub away anyway, but you just want the shapes there. Just make sure you're still looking at the fur direction. It's just I find, like with graphite pencil, once you start adding more, you realise that you do need to go darker. Some people might get it right straight away, I don't know, but that's not me. Just keep looking back at your reference photo, make sure you're doing everything where you want it to be. Looks a bit silly at the moment, but it won't once it's done. It'll be fine, promise. Just I feel like sometimes a lot of drawings will go through this like weird stage where you're looking at it and thinking, oh, what have I done? But you just got to keep going. Okay, now just really lightly, again, I'm going to hold the pencil quite far down. I'm still using my 2B, and I'm literally just going to shade over all of this section. So if you look in the reference photo, you can see just on this left hand side here, it's really bright white, and there's little bits here and there just on the right side as well. So I'm not going to put the pencil there, but just everywhere else where you can see the grey, just going to very lightly, just back and forth, you're going to overlap your pencil strokes and just shade it all in. Okay, I want to use my little trusty blending tissue now. I'm using just this little section where it's got a bit of pencil on already. That doesn't matter. I'm just going to blend it sort of down and out, so just following the main fur direction, just really lightly, just sort of moving that pencil around. So in those white sections that I said I wasn't putting any pencil down on, I'm still blending it out into there, but we can always sort of erase it later if we need to, but I don't think we will. Just didn't want it to be too dark, like the same as everywhere else. Right now the same on the other side. I'm just going up into this section at the top as well, which we shaded in the last video. So we hadn't blended that out yet. I'm now going to use 4B, so it's like this middle sort of pencil. And what we did in the first step, we're just going over those lines now. So we're going to look a bit more at the sort of detail, but it's nothing different to what we did in the first step. So you're literally just following the direction of the fur and doing your short little strokes. You can press a bit harder now in the darker bits. Just keep looking at your reference photo back and forth. For the short little hairs, I'm doing these tiny little like triangle strokes again. If you've watched the other parts, probably feels like I'm just repeating myself now, but it really is quite, that's what it is, like it's quite repetitive. It's the same sort of techniques, but you're just applying them in different ways. Once you sort of learn the techniques, then all of your drawings will just become so much easier. So I'm hoping obviously today now that we're going to finish this drawing of Hugo, and then I'm going to send it to his mum. She hasn't seen any of it yet, unless she's been looking at my YouTube, but I doubt it. I don't know. But I haven't spoken to her since I said that I was going to like start it. But I hope she loves it. Don't know if I mentioned, but Hugo passed away, so she was quite happy for me to use his photo and allow him to sort of teach you all how to draw, which is really lovely of her. But yeah, I hope she loves it. Obviously I'll offer her, she can have the drawing if she wants it. Just keep looking at where the hairs get longer, where they get shorter, which direction they're going in. And you can't go too far wrong. I've gotten a lot faster with my drawings recently. I don't know why or how, but this year I just seem to be getting them done a lot quicker. Like, I was a bit worried, like, I didn't know how long this was going to take. Obviously I didn't want a tutorial to go on for about 16 videos. But yeah, I've obviously managed to get this done in 5, which is about like maybe about 6 hours probably total. Which I'm really happy with, to be honest. I had to stop the video then because Biscuit was pouring at the door to ask to be let out, and then literally like a minute later he's on the other side of the door asking to be let back in. So let him back in, and now he's sitting on my chair behind me, but he's happy, so we're just going with it for now. He does love to be there. He's literally like, you know, like those sort of like back support, like V-shaped pillows that you can get. He's like one of those. I always feel lost when he's not here, like if he goes to the groomers or something. Like whenever I move my chair, I'm always looking to make sure I'm not gonna like run him over. And then when he's not here, I get really sad. I'm like, oh, I miss him. Like, he's only gone for like 2 hours, and then I pick him up and he's back. As soon as she texts that he's ready, I'm like immediately there. Like, give him back, please. Like, I say he's quite clingy and needy, which he is, but so am I, so I don't mind. And if you don't know Biscuit, then you need to get on my Instagram and have a look, because I think everyone needs to know Biscuit. Use the 5B now again for this dark shadow and bring it up slightly. Just small pencil strokes. Just bring it into the mouth area where it's really dark. just outlined, again, I can't speak, the nose a little bit, as I feel like it was sort of all blending into each other, so I wanted to just define that nose a little bit. All of the parts on the photo that you can see that look pretty much black now, that's just what I'm going over with this 5B pencil. There's like tiny little sort of spots he's got on his mouth. They're quite dark. I'm just going over those, doing like just little tiny, just lines really, where they are, just all close together. My birthday was a week ago now, and I've been having cake for lunch every day, so I'm excited for that. Biscuit's on the move. Oh, he's still there, just readjusting. Okay, I'm going to blend it again now, using just the same bit of tissue. I think I might use my razor then to bring out some light bits, and then go back with my 2B pencil for sort of those in-betweeny sections. Okay, so I'm just, oh, and I've broken it. Just using my scrap piece of paper, I was just sort of cleaning eraser so that it would be just nice and white on the end, no pigment, whether it be colour pencil or graphite pencil on it. And these very brightest areas on the reference photo, just gonna do short strokes like we do with the pencil. So that's essentially just what I'm going to use this as, is like a white pencil. I'm just going to go over, do the same thing, just brighten up the areas that need to be a bit lighter. So that was quite good that my razor just broke them, because it's given quite like a sharp edge to it, which is quite helpful. Might feel a bit counterproductive erasing bits just to go back over them again and putting the pencil on just to erase it, but it's just all part of the process, really. Obviously, I'm sure there's ways that you could draw this without using the eraser, and just, you know, you sort of find your own way of drawing after a while, but this is just how I like to do it. So I think mostly just on this right hand side is where I just sort of need to go over. I can't quite put my finger on what looks not right, but I don't know. So I'm just gonna sort of keep working on it a minute. I've got my 2B pencil again. I'm just gonna have a look at my reference photo and just sort of compare any bits that need to be a little bit darker. I'll just go over, make sure I've got all of the wrinkles in the right place and everything. I think it might be this bottom bit, you know. Just going to use my putty eraser for that part. I think I just had it sort of the wrong shape. I think that looks a bit better already. It's just got like a funny shaped shadow on it, I think, and that's what's throwing me off. Okay, I think I'll leave it like that for now. Oh, I did want to, I forgot this little wrinkle just outside of his mouth. Just want to blend that slightly with the tissue. There we go. Yeah, I'm going to leave that. I'll do the chin and then we'll come back to it all together. So I'm going to erase my grid lines again. They're a bit harder to get off now, only because I drew the grid, well, when I started this, which was like months ago. If I'd only just drawn it, it would be so much easier to get off. Okay, first things first, I'm going to use 4B. Oop, and I dropped it on the floor. So he's got this really bright section, I think it's his lips, and they're obviously wet, so it's like reflecting the sun. So got quite a harsh line just underneath it, so I'm going to draw that shape in. So I'm bring it into these shadows now as well. Okay, now before we go any further, I can't remember if with the embossing tool in part 4, I added all these little hairs on his chin. So I'm just going to put, I can't see any, so I don't think I did. I'm just going to add those in. So this essentially just makes a little indent in the paper, so that when you add pencil on top of it, the pencil doesn't reach into the sort of indentation, so it'll stay white. It's like, I don't know if you can see there, like that wrinkle that we did, and just by here there's little lines. So he's got quite a lot of bright white hairs on his chin and quite like a dark background. So put this in, press quite hard to make sure that it goes right into the paper. Okay, go back in with 4B now. So this little wavy shape that I had drawn in, you can see that's like a darker section. Just draw that in. I'm doing really short, like sketchy, almost pencil strokes. It's quite like chaotic in this section. This hair's going in all sorts of different directions, overlapping and things, so go a bit wild. Like I said, just little, almost as if you're like sketching, just short strokes. Keep looking at your reference photo just as you're drawing. I'm going to use 2B now, and like we did just for the mouth, I'm going to shade in just everywhere. This bit is a lot darker, so I'm pressing a bit harder than I will for this main section. Sorry, I just completely zoned out then, and I don't know what I was doing, so I'm just blending in, obviously, with my tissue. Sorry, oh my god, do you know what? I've been so tired this week. I don't know what's wrong with me. Just blame it on that. Use my 4B again now, and all of the darker bits. We're just going to go over those. So like the face layer that we just did, we're sort of going over those again. Press a little bit harder. So you can really start to see now, if you use the embossing tool, you can see all of those hairs starting to come out. I think for his little lip, rather than shading it in, I think I'm just going to use this same little bit of tissue. I'm just going to use that as like my pencil essentially. Just to get some pigment in there. Because it's quite smooth. So we don't really want any little lines or anything in there. And then I'll use my putty eraser for the really bright white bit along the bottom. Oh, I went too far there. That's okay. Go back over it with a clean bit of tissue, I think. We'll go with that. We'll work on this shadow now, so I'm using my 5B pencil. You could probably use a darker pencil for this as well, but I've just tried to keep this tutorial to just the sort of like 3 pencils. Just to try and keep it as simple as possible. So same as earlier, any bits that look pretty much black, just put the 5B pencil. Do a little shading on top. Okay, I'm going to use my 2B pencil just in this lip. There's a little darker bit just in the middle, and I'm pressing really lightly. I'm just doing small, like little circles with my pencil. That hasn't really worked how I wanted it to, but it's okay. That's fine, I think that looks okay anyway. I'm pretty much done. I'm going to use my 2B just for this part here, just underneath his right lip. It needs to be a bit darker. Now I've just zoomed out on my reference photo, so I can just sort of see it all as a whole. And just look back at your drawing and just have a look at any bits need to be lighter, do any bits need to be darker. So I'm thinking in this bottom section here, and I think I said this at the start as well, I think just needs to be a little bit darker. So using 5B, I'm literally just going over these darker bits. Follow the same fur direction, just do exactly the same as we've done earlier. Make sure you're copying the pencil strokes you know, like if the fur is a bit longer, you can use longer strokes with your pencil. If it's shorter, do small little like triangles. And just press a bit harder in any of the darker areas. If you're looking and you think any bits need to be lighter, then you can use your eraser. But these are just going to be the sort of final little touch-ups. Just going to finish it all off. You might look at your drawing and think that it's done and you're sort of happy with how light and dark everything is. And if you are, then amazing, and thank you for watching. The only thing I would say is after I've done this, I'm just going to add a couple of the darker whiskers that are just on the bottom of his chin. But apart from that, I'm just going over these darker bits. Using my 2B for this part here. There we go. Back to my 5B now. I really hope you have enjoyed this tutorial and it's been helpful. Like I say, it's my first graphite pencil one, and I just sort of threw myself in the deep end really with like a full tutorial rather than just little sections, which probably would have been easier. But I'll try and do some more graphite pencil ones, I think, and like I say, I'll do some more little focus areas, like maybe I'll do some different eyes, different fur textures, different animals even. I have got a new paper to try. I want to try for my graphite pencil drawings, so maybe I'll use that. I've heard lots of good reviews about it. It's the Bristol, like Strathmore paper. Can't remember exactly what it's called. It's like the yellow pad. Yeah, I'm excited to try that. My commissions, literally I've only had one commission this year so far for graphite pencil. All the rest have been colour, which I'm not gonna lie, I do enjoy. I think I enjoy colour a lot more. So it's been quite nice. But it just means I'm a bit like out of practice with my graphite pencil. Okay, I'm going to add the little whiskers now, just because I would say that this part is done. So just make sure that your pencil is sharp. I'm going to stay with the 5B. I've got quite a sharp point on it. And just look closely at where these darker whiskers are, and you're going to press quite hard to start with, and then you just literally need to just not think about it. If you try and do it slowly, you're going to end up with like a wobbly little whisker and it's not going to look right. So you need to just press quite hard and then quickly just lift your pencil off like that. And then just keep turning it, make sure you've got the sharpest point. And whiskers is one of those that, I don't know, I guess you don't really notice that they're there on the drawing, but like not at first look anyway, but they do make a really big difference. Just adds that last sort of element of detail. It sort of brings it all together. If you need to turn your paper, then do it. I find, going certain ways with the pencil is easier. There we go. I'm happy with this. You can sort of keep working on it until, you sort of take a step back and sort of are happy with how light and dark every sort of bit is. If you look at something and think, oh, that needs a bit more detail, then you can add it in. I usually, like when I'm doing my commissions, I like to sort of come back to it like the next day. So if I'm like almost finished, I'll just put it away and I'll start something else, or I'll finish for the day. And then the next day or whenever I'm working next, I'll come back to it, and usually you can see a lot better than like what needs changing, if anything. Because I find when you're staring at something for so long, it all just merges into one. But yeah, for now, really happy with this. If you have been following along with this tutorial, I'd love to sort of see what you've done. If you like send me a message on Instagram, I'll put my username, and my Instagram's linked in the description as well. Send me a message on there, or if you want to post it, then please tag me so I can see it. But yeah, if you have enjoyed this, let me know. If you'd be interested in seeing any other like graphite pencil tutorials in particular, then let me know. I can sort of add them to a list, try and find some photos. And stay tuned for some more colour pencil tutorials, which I'm hopefully going to film one straight after this now. Yeah, thank you so much for watching and for joining in if you have. Like I say, tag me on Instagram or send me a message. I'd love to see them. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.